Hello, everyone. I am Jacob Browne. We are joined here by NFL senior film producer Greg Cosell. First of all, it's an absolute honor for you coming on. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Good to be with you.
So, everyone, if you don't know who Greg Cosell is, this is the man to ask about football strategy. He knows everything there is to know about the game of football. So, when you look at this Super Bowl this year, and this is a question I've been trying to answer myself as I've been here, what do you think is more important, the speed of the Kansas City receivers or the speed of that San Francisco defense?
Well, I think the San Francisco defense is built on their front four, and the linebackers are very, very fast. I don't think the secondary is very fast. And that's going to be an interesting element to this game. Because one thing a lot of people might not realize, because their defensive coordinator, Robert Saleh, comes from a Seattle Seahawks background, is most people automatically assume that they just play cover three. Nothing could be further from the truth. Over the last 6-8 weeks, they've played a lot of man-to-man coverage, especially on third down. And they actually blitz on 30% of their third down snaps. So I'm just curious to see if they continue to play man coverage, because I'm just not sure from a tape perspective if they can match up playing man coverage. You know, with all due respect to Richard Sherman, I just don't know if they can match up playing man coverage.
You know, another aspect of the Super Bowl I think is really important is the San Francisco 49ers offense. Despite Kansas City being the number one team in terms of offensive DVOA, the Niners are sixth in the NFL in terms of offensive DVOA. I was wondering, what do you think makes the Niners offense so dangerous?
Well, I don't know what DVOA means, but to me, what Kyle Shanahan is really good at, and there's no one better, is what I call run-pass fusion. I think his run game and his play-action pass game look very much the same. And what he does exceptionally well is he puts players who have both a run responsibility and a pass responsibility, which are linebackers, often a safety. He puts them in conflict. Now, particularly if you're playing zone coverage. So that is, and I personally think he's going to be far more aggressive throwing the ball in this game than people think. It would not surprise me to see him come out throwing the ball. Now, I'm not saying he's not going to run it and he's going to throw it 50 times. He's not going to do that. But I think, you know, the 49ers don't need to establish the run, which is one of the most meaningless phrases in football anyway. Their run's already established. So they don't need to establish the run. So I think he's going to use that to his advantage, and I think he's going to put those linebackers for the Chiefs, who can be very aggressive attacking the run. I think he's going to try to put them in conflict early and attack with the pass game.
Yeah, just one more thing. I wanted to kind of go shift to the NFL draft here real quick.
Okay.
We're from FAU, and we cover FAU football and all that sort of stuff. Harrison Bryant, start tight end for us.
I don't know much about him at this point. I mean, I've just started doing draft stuff. I've watched, I think, 11 quarterbacks in detail, a couple of wide receivers in detail, but I know who Harrison Bryant is. I don't, you know, I'll watch him. It's not supposed to be a great tight end draft this year, so I definitely will be watching him. But at this point, to be honest, I don't know that much about him.
Okay, so in all of your years of scouting and watching film, who was always the one player where his film comes across your lap, you're like, oh, I have to sit down and watch this because he might do something that jumps off film and like, whoa, this guy is amazing. Like, there's somebody who's like, immediately, like, you have to go and watch this person on film.
That's a hard question for me because I've done it for so long. And I'm usually not blown away by stuff just because I've seen so much. I tend to be far more interested in schemes than I am in individual players. You know, every once in a while there's a guy who's just, you know, I mean, just being recent and talking about the Super Bowl, there's not many guys that I can remember who throw a ball like Patrick Mahomes. But I'm old enough to remember in 1979 when Dan Marino was a freshman at Pitt, and I remember seeing him throw, and I was young then, so I had nowhere near the experience, and I certainly didn't know anything compared to what I hopefully know now. But I just remember watching Dan Marino throw a ball in 1979 going, I don't think a lot of guys throw it like that. You know, so every once in a while there's a guy, you know, that kind of jumps out like that. But, you know, just because I've seen so much, I don't necessarily think in those terms.
So does it concern you? I was looking at San Francisco's losses this year. They've lost to mobile quarterbacks. They lost to Russell. I know they beat Russell Wilson one time, but they did lose.
Right, well, they play him twice a year.
Right. So yeah.
Yeah.
And they also lost to Lamar Jackson as well, although it was a close game.
Yeah, but Lamar Jackson, that's a whole different animal because that offense is the only offense in the NFL that's built around the quarterback as a runner, not as a distributor of the football in the pass game. So you have to put that aside.
So I guess a better question would then be, what team in the NFL this year have the 49ers played that would be like playing the Chiefs?
None, because the Chiefs have that speed. That speed changes on the blackboard anyway, or on the iPad, I guess I should say these days. That changes somewhat the way you play because, they've got Hill, they've got Hardman. People don't even talk about Sammy Watkins anymore, and he can run. And then they've got Kelsey, who's a matchup problem. So, I think the Chiefs present problems that no other team presents. Plus, Mahomes is capable of those off-schedule second reaction plays, which makes it very, very difficult. You can win as a pass rush, and Mahomes can move away from your pass rush. So I don't know if there's a team overall offensively that's like the Chiefs.
So for people at home that don't know about your job, can you just tell people what the day-to-day life of NFL's film producer is?
Well, I can tell you what the day-to-day life of my life is, but, during the season, it's pretty much tape study because I always feel like I'm missing something. So, I'm just watching as much tape of every team as possible. But then I have to prepare for my NFL matchup show, which, of course, the tape study helps me do that. But then there's other things that go along with that, more logistical, procedural things. I do some radio shows in different markets. So I will never do a radio show in a market without watching that team's tape and their opponent's tape every week, because otherwise I don't feel like I'm prepared. So that's my season. I probably work 7 days a week, 70 hours a week during the season. And now when the season ends, I jump right into watching college tape. We do 2 draft matchup shows, but I also do a lot of other draft work as well. So I try to watch 200 college players.
So we had him in the lab.
Came in the Super Bowl, I think a player that's going to be something that Kyle Shanahan's going to have to watch out for is Tyrann Mathieu, running back.
Yep.
What makes him so special in terms of how the Chiefs deploy him and how he makes his plays?
Well, he's multidimensional. He can play any number of positions. He can play back-end safety. He can play a box safety. He can play slot corner. It wouldn't surprise me in this game to see him used as what we call a robber safety, where he's sort of right in the middle of the field because the 49ers pass game is very focused between the numbers. That's what their pass game is. So it wouldn't surprise me to see him play that robber position. He has a great feel for route concepts. He has a great feel for reading the quarterback. So I wouldn't be surprised at all to see him in that position. Of course, none of this means every snap, but they'll do that on occasion.
So, I'm sorry, so I was just talking about, obviously a big conversation about what the Dolphins are going to do, pick number 5 here. A lot of mock drafts, especially Mel Kiper and ESPN, even said Tua is basically kind of the clear cut pick number 5. Do you think they should pick him, build around him, or should they stick with the trenches, or even boost up the secondary?
Well, I've studied Tua in detail. I'm probably not as high on him as others based on film study because I watched him from this past year and from last year. Having said that, now people think, you think he's no good. No, that's not what I said. I don't think I think he's a good prospect, not a great prospect. And I think he's a certain kind of player. He's not Russell Wilson. He's not that athletic. To me, for Tua to become a great NFL quarterback, and if you draft him at 5, you're expecting him to be a great NFL quarterback, not just to be a good player. You're expecting him to be a great player. I think Tua's game would have to be like Drew Brees. He's not that athletic. Just because he can make some plays on the move, he's not that athletic. He's not going to be Russell Wilson. He's going to have to be a precision pocket player.
And just 2 more quick questions to not waste your time here. But before the season started for the Chiefs, a lot of people stressed on the 2 linebackers, Justin Houston and Dee Ford, leaving.
Right.
But the Chiefs actually have some 2 pretty good linebackers. Can you go into how those linebackers are and why they're so underrated this year?
Well, their defense struggled for a good part of the season. they've just improved a bit lately. You know, a lot of things with the Chiefs too has to do with the fact that they can score a lot. You know, when you can score a lot, your defense becomes different. The Chiefs play a lot with 5 defensive backs. They play a lot with 6 defensive backs. So, you know, I think one of the things that'll happen in this game is Shanahan's going to try to stress those linebackers. Hitchens, he's been around the league for a while. Damian Wilson. You know, when they go to their dime with 6 defensive backs, they play Neiman, the kid from Iowa, quite a bit. So, you know, I think that Kyle Shanahan's going to feel that those guys are exploitable players. So I'm anxious to see that.
Chris Jones has been a rock. That
Right.
defense, when he goes off the field, their run defense
Yep.
plummets. How big of an impact do you think he's going to have for the Chiefs to win this game?
I think he's going to have to be a big factor. And we'll see how many snaps he can play because he's a big man with great movement. And he's going to have to be a big factor in their run defense. So, to me, he's a critical player in this game.
So I'm guessing you're going Chiefs for the Super Bowl?
I haven't figured that out yet. when we do my matchup show, we shoot it on Saturday on ESPN's set. You know, when we get to the last segment and I have to pick the winner, that's probably when something will pop into my head.
Hey, split-second decision.
That's right. That's right.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Mr. Cosell. We appreciate it so much.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks.